Welcome to Faith in 5, a weekly video devotional designed to discuss practical spiritual concepts in 5 minutes or less. I'm your host, Mark Vandella. I have this weird habit that when I'm in a dark room, I find myself closing my eyes. It's weird. You get up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom, and it's dark, and I close my eyes. You come home late at night, you walk in the front door, and it's all dark. I close my eyes. It's not like I can see whether my eyes are open or closed, but for some reason, I find myself relying on the right senses when I close my eyes. Because when I leave them open, I'm still trying to see in a place that I can't see. But the moment I close my eyes, it changes my perspective. It changes my expectation of what's going to happen, and I actually am able to lean on the things that I need in that space, which are not my eyes. It's memory, it's senses, right? You start feeling your way around, and you work your way to a light switch. But if I keep trying to see in a dark room, in a place where I can't see, then I kind of convince myself that I should be able to see and that I can see, and I don't make my way to a light switch. Now, if you're anything like me, for some reason, by the time I make it to the light switch with my eyes closed and I turn it on, I look right at the light to make sure it's on. And then you're like, oh gosh, I wish I would go back to a dark room. I'm not the only one, right? I tell you this because I think our faith works very similarly. See, when life is going well, it's like we're navigating a room with the lights on. We can see everything clearly. We know where everything is. We have every piece of expectation laid out in front of us. And we like this. It's comforting. That's why we have things like 401ks and insurance. And, if you think about the insurance type of thing, we have insurance on everything. We have insurance on our cars, our homes, even trip insurance. You buy a plane ticket, insure it. You rent a car, insure it. All of these sorts of things that give us this I would say, kind of false hope. But we like to put our faith in things that we can see. Even things like hard work, which is something we can control. We like control. But the reality is oftentimes life makes this impossible. Oftentimes in life, we get handed difficult situations. We get bad diagnoses. We lose somebody. We lose something. We lose a job. Our kids get in trouble. Whatever it is, we all have a long list of those things. And in those moments, what happens is it's almost like somebody turned the lights off on us. And in that moment, we have a choice. We could continue to lean on the things that we can see, but we can't because now we're in a dark room. See, we keep trying to lean on the understanding that we have when everything's going well, and when we do that, that makes faith very difficult. In his book, Nate Pyle, his book, More Than You Can Handle, he says that faith is the hope in things unseen. He goes on to say that faith is really easy when everything's going right, when the lights are on. But what happens when life happens? What happens when somebody turns out the lights on us? So unfortunately, most of us can't navigate this because we continue to try to navigate difficulty with the same eyes we use to navigate when things are well, when things are going well. And Jesus gives us an example of this in Mark 9. He kind of shifts a little bit for us as a father brings a son who's sick. And Jesus heals the son as he does, right? And Jesus says, everything is possible for one who believes. And it sounds so simple. The problem is, it's really easy to believe when the lights are on. It's hard to believe when the lights are off. And after Jesus says this to the father, he says, in Mark 9:24, the father says, I do believe. Help my unbelief. And if you're anything like me, you have these situations in your life either now or in the past, or we will have them in the future, where everything is going as planned and someone turns off the lights. When that happens, Jesus says, everything is possible for one who believes. It's not as simple, though, as doing the exact same thing that we were doing when the lights were on. In our faith, what we need to do is close our eyes. You can stretch that and say we need to pray more, right? Close your eyes and pray. And do that too. But honestly, what we need to do, as Nate suggests, faith is hope in things unseen. Instead of trying to continue to see things as perfect, as linear, as everything makes a ton of sense. When it doesn't make sense, we need to start seeing with different eyes. And so the way that we help our unbelief is to see the room differently. The room didn't change. The circumstances changed. And so instead of trying to do the same exact thing, that we put our trust in things that we can see and things that we understand, what if we pivoted and we said, I don't fully understand this. I'm going to change the way I look at it. I'm going to close my eyes and I'm going to feel around and I'm going to trust that God has my circumstances in his hands. This week, as you live out your faith, when you face difficulty, when you have people around you that face difficulty, when things don't make sense, instead of heaping all of your sight onto the things that don't make sense, change the way you look at it. This week, lean on your faith, because faith shows up in the places, it's hope in things unseen. This week, when the lights go out, close your eyes and navigate those things differently.